I couldn't really see nothing. All I saw was fire and water and fire trucks and police, like.
Hello and welcome to Lawd Lukan. It's time to hit the high notes with some low expectations as we descend into another episode of Life After Lockup. In today's episode, boozy Bianca reads my mind.
You're really mad at me.
One and done Daniel spots a strange object in the sky.
It's called a red flag.
Tiny Troy is devastated at the loss of a shoe.
Look at the sneaker right there.
It's devastating.
Genius Joey is getting a bit sweaty.
Some physical touching going on.
And we email Coraline's dad.
Hey look, he's got an email. What about if we email the guy?
All that and much more right here on the Lawd Lukan channel.
I feel like I need more.
Good day, good evening, and good golly, Miss Molly, it's a warm welcome to the channel. Big loves to those who have subscribed, you beautiful people, and a trepe of Tibetan Mastiffs to the members of the Lukan Manor. There aren't any hats in today's episode, so for the hat fans, here's this. I genuinely love you guys. Why? Well, I put a poll out to ask when I should do the live. 14% said, do it around 7 Central, 24% said 8 Central, 4 said stick, and 54% of you said, I just like clicking randomly on polls. Good job. First off this week, we're cuddling up to Coraline and One and Done Daniel. And today, they're having one of their really grown-up arguments still. And what are they arguing about? Well, Coraline went and got drunk with One and Done Daniel's cousin and started telling him all the grotty details. I think we're a bit low on the old plot line here. So anyway, during her chat, item number 1 on the list was her drinking.
So I'm just going to ask you, do you think you have a problem with alcohol?
No.
And that, as much as anything else, led to my drinking problem.
No, I'm not totally convinced by all this drinking she does, you know? Yeah, she's usually got a drink in her hand, but she's never actually stumbling around like a Christine in a wind tunnel. She strikes me as the kind of girl who goes out at 7 p.m, gets blasted on 2 shots of those cheap apple sour drinks you get for $1, then ends up vomiting in the petunias by 8 p.m, claiming she's been spiked. Another thing that annoys me is that she's going on about Daniel's body not being enough. Who does she think she is? So Daniel has to get out there and work out to impress her while she does, what exactly? You ain't tall that, my love. Could at least wash that, maybe a trim, sort those ends out a bit. And maybe get a dress that fits. Least appealing woman in the series. She's also made some claims about her dad not being so nice to her as a child. And for that particular part, we're going to take a trip back to Monday's live episode of Coffee at the Manor. Weekdays, 8 Central, 9 Eastern.
Her name, old cheeky chops here, is DiPaolo. DiPaolo, I might be butchering that. So it's DiPaolo, okay? So, and he's a footballer. So we don't need to do too much then to find a guy called Giuseppe DiPaolo. And then from there, of course, it's this guy. I don't know how, it's not really coming up particularly well there, is it? If I could do, that's coming up even less well. So here he is. I think this would be Dad. It's the jawline. They've even both got this little butt chin. See the butt chin here? And then we go through here, little butt chin here. If we go over here, look at the shape of the jaw there. And the hairline, she's got the widow's peak here in the center. This Giuseppe person here seems to have a bit of a widow's peak in the center and has this square head. So I think this is the guy, but I don't know. I could be completely wrong. I even thought, actually, look, he's got an email. What about if we email the guy and ask him? So let's do that, shall we? Should we email him? All right, I think we're good. Here we are. We're in the email. So we're going to subjects. All right, okay. So what do we? Excuse me. I'd like you to ask you some questions about your daughter. What do I want to know? This is a big question too. Is it? What do I want to know? Hello, are you the man who? Well, that's a place to start. Hello, are you the guy who? Hello, what do we say? Hello, and a smiley face. Everybody loves a smiley face. Smiley face. Hello, smiley face. Not winky face. That might be giving the wrong impression. Hello. Dear, what's his name? Joe. Dear Joe. Hi, Joe. Hey, Joe. Hey, Joe. Jimi Hendrix. Hey, Joe. Hey, Joe. Hope you're well. Hope you are well. Yes, if you'd be a bit nicer. Hope you're well. How's it going over there? Let's see. Hope you were well. What are we doing now? So, hope you're well. Hope you're well. Full stop. All right. So, I'm not being intrusive. See, this shows that I'm normal because I'm clearly embracing the fact this is a bit strange. I am being a bit strange, but if you hold on and pause a bit by strangeness, hope I'm not being personal. But I wondered if you are the father of a little lady called Bianca. That's even a song. Now you can remix that. Congratulations. Montana Millz can come along and sample that. I wondered if you are the father of Bianca, Catherine DePalo. Is it? How do I spell that right? I might not have even spelled that right. DePalo. So is that it? Should we just, hi, I just wondered if that's you. Simple. And then if he responds, we could just ask him, all right, cool. So how do you feel about this? Would you like to come on and have some questions asked and defend yourself? Or not? You could, we would then be able to tell, wouldn't we? If this man is correct or not. We, the court of looking at stuff, we will tell him whether or not he's guilty or not. Let's see. Cheers. Cheers. You gotta say cheers. Cheers. Ching ching. LL. Wonderful. Right, let's send that. Bosh. Wonderful.
And we'll come back to that if there's any developments. Right, anyway, where were we? Oh, yes. This week, Tweedledum and Tweedledummer are still arguing about making a bloody drink. Not infidelity or anything. A bloody drink. A cup of coffee.
You're making me breakfast. You literally cannot even pour the coffee for me and put milk in it.
That's it.
Please?
I'm sitting here.
Man, these people are talking about babies. Yeah. Today, though, Coraline is giving us her usual BS, where she says one thing to Juan and Dan, and then totally undermines herself in the subsequent footage. What does that tell us? And her body is dying to tell us about it. Here she is, all folded up and defensive. Then when she says no, her arms go mad with stress energy. It's like a wacky inflatable alarm flailing tube man. See, she's totally fine. Then the lie comes. Blimey, wobblier than Grimace's wobbly bits. That's totally convincing. So Juan and Dan asks her straight, when having a drink with his cousin, did she tell him she had a drinking problem?
Did you say to him that you did?
But before we find out her answer, let's just get a recap and see what old Pants on Fire actually said.
So bad. Maybe I do have problems with alcohol.
So will she excuse her words? Will she admit to having single lady-style conversations with his family member?
No.
No, of course not. So you think because there's footage of it that she'd be compelled to browse the menu of honesty? Oh, of course not. Bring me a double pooper scooper with sprinkles for all the double downing she's about to do.
He said that you did say that.
He was also really drunk.
Blame. That's guilt's best friend, I believe. And she's also carefully measuring her words, because she was very careful not to actually say yes or no. Because she said...
He was also really drunk.
Which doesn't answer the question at all. She implies that he's equally as unreliable because, booze. But she can now quite easily say, well, I didn't say that. Lying by omission is also lying by decision. And BS artists like her like to play the word game to get out of their troubles.
I like to drink.
I
don't think there's anything wrong with that.
The best way to test a sentence is to replace certain elements. For example, replace drink with any other thing and it wouldn't be as acceptable to some people. For example, I like to eat excessively. I don't see anything wrong with that. I like to bang more crack than San Andreas' fault. I don't see anything wrong with that. Or I like to party. I don't see anything wrong with that.
Another thing, too, that him and I talked about was how I don't give you enough foreplay.
And yes, her conversation with the cousin went into the trouser area. You know these two would have had some kind of vanilla and disappointing fumble behind the bin shed if the cameras weren't around. Ugh. But not to miss a chance to tell her man how he's not what she wanted after all.
I just can't get turned on with you just kissing me and sticking it in, I feel like I need more.
Okay, well, yeah, okay, I'll buy that. I really have no problem with that whatsoever. Although, maybe she should cut him some slackery. The guy's not had sex for more than 6 years. Not too many fannies inside, you know, in the British sense of the word. There's not so many crackers for your cheese, in the British sense of the word. Maybe he'd prefer to have a fag.
And I like things like slower. You know what I mean? More gentle and like loving.
Sure, she might not want to have bifolded doors fitted to her rear elevation. I can understand that. But I bet she's not exactly Disneyland herself.
Okay, then I'm just feeling used for sex.
She loves that idea, doesn't she? Look at her. She seems to place value on her lust rating. Well, let's face it, a warm bagel would have looked attractive to a man who's been hungry for the last 6 years. And if it's a choice of bagel or Coraline, well, I think I'd rather go to
Amy's big company.
I like a dominant man. I like to be submissive and like told what to do.
You like to do your greatest impression of a starfish, while everyone puts in the hard work to make you happy, more like. But that's a trait throughout your life. And then you get told you're doing it wrong. Pfft, that Amy's is looking better by the minute.
Okay, I'm good with that.
Another thing that grinds my gout about these two is their voices. Coraline does that awful balloon scraping noise when she's talking. You know, this noise. Like that thing Britney Spears does.
But can't you say?
So, just to irritate us all, here's some examples of that.
Person broken to me and
Yeah, dickhead Dan, One and Dan, does stupid things with his tone, like this.
Last night, Bianca told me, things that were weighing on her mind, and
Why do you do that? It sounds ridiculous.
I got to tell her about things that were concerning to me.
Right, to get over that little trauma, it's time for a commercial break. Stick around to find out what Detective Troy comes up with, and we make Kim and Joey more interesting. So stay tuned for that. And please kindly watch as much of the adverts as you can. It supports my channel in many ways. So skip to support the channel, and I'll see you in a mo. Welcome back, and it's over to Zeruiah and Troy's house. And it's a disaster. The family house has been set on fire, kind of, and Zeruiah and Troy are examining the evidence.
Oh my God, babe.
Ooh, that's a nasty one. Luckily, it's mostly smoke damage. Not sure why it's such a big mystery of what happens, really. It started in the older brother's bedroom where Zeruiah's son was staying, and it mostly just destroyed his bed. But hey, let's play along anyway, shall we? I mean, it's not like the family were getting into financial troubles or anything. Not like the timing of this was pretty good, and that Zeruiah's story was a bit shaky. First he says this.
I couldn't really see nothing.
Then immediately followed by,
All I saw was fire and water and fire trucks and police, like...
So she saw absolutely nothing except for those massive fire engines, all the police, the smoke and water, Maybe we should call that doing a J-Lo.
And then the first thing I'm thinking about, Azrael.
Well, it wasn't your first thought exactly. You said your first thought were all about those fire engines and stuff you didn't notice. But after that, yes, she remembered to realise, oh no, my son is staying there. But luckily, he's all fine. So let's see the damage. Yeah, well, okay. Smashed out windows, but no smoke damage to the outside. Okay, well, maybe it's just this side of the building. But that's interesting. We'll come back to this mystery shortly. But now it's time to have lunch with Kim and Professor Joey.
Mozzarella sticks.
Thank you. And pickle fries.
I'm sure some places in America just chuck different words together at random. Pickle fries? Is that a fry made out of a pickle? It's like a circus peanut. Two random things shoved together and no one really knows what you're talking about. Like Rocky Mountain oysters. All those moves in gymnastics. And here we are in the Hoojima Flip Open. That's a wild barn door hubcap, followed by a swift bandstand bottom flap handlebar, and a ginger hippopotamus lamppost to finish. Glorious performance. What a crowd pleaser. And while we're distracted by some sporty stuff, let's cross over now to another episode of Coffee at the Manor for a spot of racing.
Baby racing. Oh, yes, indeed. This is a delight in my little mind. So, here we are, of course. Here are our contestants. Do please choose yourself a person. And we're off. All they've got to do is get to mum. Who can get to mum first? So Not much movement there. Number 3 is standing up. So that's, hold on a second. Number 1 is moving. We have got movement from number 1. Oh, and a flash coming in there in the pink top, number 7. Oh, hang on a second. Number 3 has gone to go on. Oh, hello. There's a hair pulling going on over there. I think it's a, I don't know what's going on. But in that big up number 7, the quick as a flash, heading off to the finishing line. She's closing in. Mummy's even trying to give her the Pradas just to get her over that line. But hold on. I thought we'd got a resurgence for number 3, but we're back to number 1. And there's a blur going on there. He's going on. Oh, what a delightful pink blouse. I think I will stop and admire that for a bit. So what's happening now? Number 3 is also like to go and admire the lovely pink blouse, and is on his way in. Moving in close. Number 1's creeping closer. We've got the sparkly hands from Mum going on. 3 closing in, closer. Is he going to hit the line? It's the win. We have a number 3 as a winner. Oh, what excitement. How much more excitement can you take?
Anyway, back to Kim and Joey. Joey is doing his best not to look like he's 5 years old. And while he does that, Kim's got a little news to drop in his Lunchables.
My divorce is not final.
I love how he was horrified, but, not quite horrified enough to stop eating. News! Slightly less distracting than pickle fries. And brace yourself, Joey's actually got a good question. Well, it's not a good question per se. It's sort of, good for Joey.
You've been legally separated for a year, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so what have you done after that?
For most people, this would have been asked ages ago, but, Joey. And so Kim defaults back to her usual answer, which generally consists of...
We've just had so much going on, I haven't really thought about...
Time. Yes, that's it. Haven't had the time in the last 4 years to do anything about it. Because she doesn't want to marry Joey? Or because she wants the backup option just in case it goes south with Joey? I can let you decide that one. And for now, we're off to flashback Rachel and Louie.
Last night we got into a friggin' fight and I ended up sleeping on the couch.
Which means you lost the fight, young sir. But don't you worry, groveling fans. Louie and both of his brain cells have concocted a genius idea to get Melissa back on side.
I have the most amazing plan and idea for us to have a date night.
A date night, original and genius, clearly. But what's all the groveling for? Well, Joey works as a personal trainer, and there appears to be a few things that suggest he may be eyeing up other people's power racks.
I don't personally have a particular type of client that I would...
That you would do what exactly? Judging by those hands? Gym-type people say the secret to getting ahead is getting started, and I think he's taking that literally, but that's just what it seems like, apparently.
Sometimes people will compare training a client to sex.
Because you need to wipe your equipment down before someone else uses it? Because people think they've been working out for hours and it's only been like 5 minutes?
Sweaty, sometimes there's some physical touching going on.
Well, I do prefer my intercourse with a little touching, but Louie doesn't see it like that, It's totally innocent,
But I don't really see it as that.
Of course not. But before they go, Melissa shows us her chubby pickle.
Do you think I can leave early tonight? Yeah.
Back to Zeruiah and Troy. And Detective Troy's hot on the case and goes about interrogating witnesses, starting with Henry, who has a nice clear answer for him.
So how did the fire start?
It was accidental electrical.
Accidental electrical, apparently. Sure, but was it an accident or was it electrical? Seems like no one's quite sure what started the fire while vaguely knowing what started the fire, and totally saw nothing, while seeing quite a bit. And Zeruiah has her own theories on what happened.
Me going to see the psychic caused the fire, and I think that's why she's mad.
Yes, indeed. The current theory is that spiritual warfare is to blame. And because Mama Zeruiah is a paid member of the God Crew, Zeruiah says she's being ghosted and her calls are being ignored. So she tries to call her mum again.
Hello? Hey, Mom.
Good job. Back at the office, and Troy is trying out a bit of ministering. And bless him, why not? I'm sure he could be motivating if he tried. Let's give him a go and see what happens.
I do believe I have...
Oh, hold on, let's start again. This time we'll put some heartfelt music and a slow zoom, fading subtly into black and white.
I do believe I have a voice that needs to be heard, and I believe that a lot of people can relate to me. I believe...
Yeah, I'm sure the Micro Cock Collective would be thrilled to have our spokesperson, but I think it'd be more like being given coaching from a mildly depressed chihuahua.
I can dig a lot of people out of dark situations
Well, while he goes digging around in dark places, we're going to bring the episode to a close. Thank you so much for joining us today. And if you like what I do, then you can join me weekdays for Coffee at the Manor, the bestest way to start your day. And please do like and share the video, or check out one of these little beauties. So until we meet again, stay beautiful, love to my 3, but you take care of yourself.
Please subscribe now for updates. Thank you.